The Environmental Protection Agency has announced a series of cuts and rollbacks targeting key regulations. EPA Chief Lee Zeldin says the agency will also be reviewing 2009 guidance that found that greenhouse gases are a danger to public health. So let's bring in CBS News national environmental correspondent David Schechter. David, great to see you. Can you explain what these rollbacks are and what the EPA is considering here?
Hi, Elizabeth. Well, basically yesterday, the EPA flooded the field with 31 announcements about all kinds of regulations that they would like to do away with, from emissions from smokestacks or from vehicles, or what is considered to be a wetland, what kind of environmental justice protection vulnerable communities have. Yesterday was quite an overwhelming day for all the amount of information that came out. The underlying message is that, from Zeldin, is that regulation has gone amok, and that protecting the environment, it's swung too far towards protecting the environment and not allowing businesses and people to prosper in their lives. And so a lot of this sort of really on paper at the moment, a lot of headlines, a lot of work to be done to even approach what they said they could do yesterday. But it's basically a gutting of it would be a gutting of environmental regulation in this country.
Yeah, speaking of headlines, David, the EPA chief is taking aim at one of their biggest headlines over the past 20 years, that greenhouse gases are harmful to our health. There are years worth of research and studies that back these findings. So what's their argument that they can rewrite what is largely considered scientific fact?
Yeah. Well, it's sort of a wonky phrase. It's called the endangerment finding. And this has been the underpinning for how the EPA has regulated greenhouse gas emissions as a pollutant. I've studied a lot of science, not great at science myself, but studied a lot of science, and you will not find a topic that is better documented than climate change. That the emissions from our vehicles, the emissions from our factories and our power plants releases carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, which warms the climate, which then creates more extreme drought, more extreme flood, more extreme fire, all kinds of things like that. So this endangerment finding said, look, there's a direct correlation between what we're releasing and the harm it does to the environment and the harm that it does to people. To then challenge that, the administration to challenge that, is going to be very complicated. You can't really go into court and say climate change isn't real. There's no basis in fact there. And there's a lot of legal challenges, regulatory challenges. So to say that they were going to do that is one thing, but to take on essentially the fact of climate change and whether the government can regulate the emissions is going to be a long-term battle here, but a critical one, because if the EPA cannot regulate greenhouse gases, then that changes the game for this existential problem that we face.
And go back to why Lee Zeldin is doing this. What's his argument? How is he justifying these rollbacks? He posted yesterday a video and never said one thing about a momentous day for the environment. He never said the environment really one time. He talked about deregulation. He talked about onerous issues that people had to deal with from their businesses, and from the cost of everything going up and the cost of regulation being so high that it's gotten out of control. So even when he took the job, even going back to the Project 2025 and what it said during the election, this was all coming. That regulation is bad for the economy, and it needs to be undone to unlock a lot of potential. One of the facts is that over time, environmental regulation has led to a lot of cleaner air, cleaner rivers, cleaner water, things, like incredible benefits to society over time. So finding that balance always changes from an administration to administration, but the tipping point here is really, really far. Yeah, there's a lot at stake here, though, David, and many environmental protection agencies have powerful lobbyists. What kind of legal challenges could we expect going forward here?
I think a ton of lawsuits. These are all going to go. I would expect almost every one of these things will go to court. So, some of the issues that came up are
we're not particularly, don't have a lot of teeth in them, like let's bring back coal power plants and turn them back on. Those things don't seem to be highly realistic. We have less and less coal, and it's more and more expensive to run those plants. I think one thing you will see, though, is all these things have to go through a really onerous process of dealing of regulatory hearings, and what's the proposal, what's the EPA saying, and what's the open period for comment, and all these organizations can make their comments and challenge these things. So to change a rule is much, much more difficult than saying we're going to change the rule.
Right, has to go through the process there. All right, CBS News national environmental correspondent David Schechter, always great to talk to you. Thank you so much for being with us.